Hello and welcome to the course of Digital Image Processing using Python. I am Ahmad and we will be discussing some Python codes for KNA and edge detection and then Harris corner detector. So here is the Python code for Laplacian. We loaded an image San Francisco.jpg as image 0, img0, then converted it to gray color using cvt color, cv2.cvt color method. Pass the original colored image and then convert it to BGR to gray. Then applied the Gaussian blur which we discussed earlier, a 3x3 Gaussian, and then convolute with the proper kernel like Laplacian. So simply pass the original image, which is in fact Gaussian blurred image, and then pass the data type, which is 64-bit floating point numbers. And then we use the Sobel operator along x-axis and then Sobel operator along y-axis, and we pass the same blurred image to all the methods, and we saved the transformed images to different variables and then plotted all the images. Displayed all the images. So here is the original image. That's the Laplacian, Sobel along y-axis and Sobel along x-axis. And similarly, we run the same code for different image like this one, which is a window image, and then Sobel along x-axis and Sobel along y-axis, and this is the Laplacian. So it's a simple three functions like Gaussian blur, which we have already discussed, then Laplacian, cv2.Laplacian and cv2.Sobel. So if you pass 1 and then 0, third parameter as 1 and fourth parameter as 0, then it's like applying Sobel along x-axis, and if you pass third parameter as 0 and fourth as 1, then it's like applying Sobel operator along y-axis. And you can pass size of the Sobel like 5 or 3, any odd number. Here's the code for KNA edge detectors. We have a built-in method in CV2, not built-in, it's in OpenCV. So you have to import CV2, and then you can load some image, convert it to gray, apply the Gaussian blur, and then simple cv2.KNA requires an image as an input, and then two integer values between 0 and 255, just to mention threshold hysteresis like min value and max value. So we call this function KNA with blurred image with two threshold, like wider threshold 10 to 200. So we saved this output of this KNA to wide, and then very tight range of threshold like 225 to 250. We passed the same image and saved it into the tight. It's a tight threshold, so a variable with name tight, just to represent that we applied Gaussian with very tight threshold. And then some auto KNA, which is in fact a method written over here. We passed an image and some sigma value, which is like variance. So first compute the median of the image, save it to V. It would be like a single integer, which is in fact the median of the image, median value of the image. Then subtract 1 minus sigma is like if sigma is 0.33, then 1 minus sigma would be like 0.67. So 0.67 of the median value, and similarly 1 plus 0.33 is like 1.33 of the median value. So that is like selecting some middle value. Median is the middle value, and then subtracting and adding to that 0.67 to 1.33 of the median value. Then you can select. So there is a possibility of getting some negative value or a value greater than 255. So max of 0 comma this and min of 255 comma this, just to apply a threshold so that we cannot get a value less than 0 or greater than 255, because our images are encoded using numbers between 0 and 255. Then converting it to an integer, we got a lower threshold and an upper threshold, and then apply Canny edge detector, same function, same method, but here lower and upper values are computed based on the median of the image. So return the edge. So we applied 3 different Canny with some wider range of threshold, tighter range of threshold, and then threshold computed based on the median of the image. So we got 3 different images, like a dolphin. Original image is a dolphin image with sky and sun and some clouds in the background, and we got this image after wide hysteresis threshold, and in case of tight we got this one, in case of auto we got this one. So it's a better way to compute the min and max threshold. Though with the tighter threshold we got a good result, but a smaller part of the tail is missing, few pixels. So using Python and OpenCV, you have wide variety of methods or functions available. You can implement even a standard filter 2D method to implement any 2D mask. However, you have specialized function like Canny or Sobel or Laplacian, whereas you can implement the same Laplacian using 2D filter method which we discussed earlier, and pass the Laplacian operator to that method along with the input image. So Harris-Corner detector. Remember, this topic is not included in general digital image processing course and is not discussed in general, but we are discussing it as an example. We will not get into mathematical details, but we will discuss it just as an algorithm, and based on our previous knowledge, I mean the derivatives along x-axis and y-axis. So that's it. So why corner detection? Corners are robust and used in computer vision for matching. It's like we have an image and we can detect some corners, Harris corners, and then we can save that corners, and later on based on that corners we can detect images. The one way brute force method would be like matching the whole image, but that's not an efficient and robust way, because objects can translate in images, and objects can get scaled. Like one image is taken at some different distance and the other image is taken at some other distance. So images get scaled in the image and translated and even rotated. So we need some robust method so that we can match images, we can detect objects in. This is the one example which is called stereo imaging. Nowadays we are getting more and more mobiles with multiple cameras. It's called stereo imaging. We have multiple cameras and we are getting different images. So with stereo imaging we can get a better estimate of the distance, whereas with a single eye or single camera, the estimation of distance and 3D vision gets confused. So it's the same image taken from 2 different cameras with the right lens and the left lens, and then diffused or merged based on its corners. So patch matching, like we consider small patches which are selected from different images. So there is a huge chance that the the merge or diffusion of two images based on patches get confused. Like we have a patch over here and we have a patch over here which is little similar to this patch. So there is a possibility that we confuse a patch with some other patches. So it's better to get more corners and then diffuse or merge the two images based on that corners. So there is a possibility that we select a patch which is very flat, and there is a huge chance that the same flat patch is available at so many locations in this image. So that would be like very ambiguous approach. I mean matching the patches. So mostly corners are unique in their nature. Like a corner over here is different in shape and a corner over here is different in shape. So their zoomed in versions are also displayed, like this one, a corner over here and a corner over here, or a corner over here. So it's the same corner. So you can see their intensity, their angles, everything is different. So not only a corner, we can compute some sort of a matrix to represent this corner, like a 3x3 matrix, a 4x4, a 5x5 matrix, just to represent the nature of this corner. So the simplest way would be to compute just a coordinate, a corner over here, a corner over here. So just compute the coordinate and then save that coordinate, and then based on that coordinate or set of coordinates, match this image with some other image. So we can compute in fact corners, and that would be like a robust algorithm to match images. So here is the basic idea of corner points detection. Say we have this image, just a corner at some angle, two lines intersecting at some point, and then we can select a window of say 10 by 10 or 11 by 11 pixels. And just by moving this window, we can compute the intensity levels within this window. Then translate this window in any direction, like this one or this one or this one or this one. So if the window is translated in this direction, you can see there will be a huge change in intensity. Whereas if moved in this direction, there will be a little change, or in this direction there will be a little change. So we can detect based on the change in the intensity within this patch of image, just by translating it and then keep on measuring the intensity. But this is not the proper way or mathematical way to compute the corner. This is just an idea. How do we do that? So like this one, if the patch is centered over here, it's a flat region. So just translating this patch a little bit, say a 10 by 10 patch or 11 by 11 patch, which is then translated to say 2 to 3 pixel towards any direction, you will get no change. So it's like a flat surface. So if you are on an edge, and then if you translate the patch towards right or left, there is no change in intensity. So if you move the patch more, I mean if you leave the patch for some time, for some values, then definitely there will be a change in intensity, and there is no change along y-axis. So that is like an edge. And similarly, in case of corner, you will get change in every direction, I mean in any direction. So this is the basic concept behind the Harris detection, but we have some mathematical approach to do that. So here is the mathematical formula. We have the original patch xy, and then we have the same patch but translated. Along x-axis plus u, along y-axis like v, and then a window just to truncate this image, window like this one, and then take the difference, then take the square, then add them just to get the change in just to measure the change in intensity. So that's just a window, empty window. It could be like a square window or a weighted window, but main measure or main computation is in between the original patch and then translated patch. Compute the difference, take the square, add them together just to get the average change in intensity. So, but it is difficult to measure this formula or compute this thing on each pixel or a window which is centered at each pixel of this image. So if this difference is small or equal to 0, then it means the surface or the region is flat, and if this difference is large, mean the difference between translated patch and the original patch is large, it means there is something, a corner or edge. So here is that difference. We can estimate, we can approximate this difference just by using Taylor series. This is the first approximation. F of x plus u, y plus v can be expanded like f of xy or I of xy plus u times derivative of I with respect to x, and similarly derivative of y with respect to y multiplied with v. So it's called first order approximation of Taylor series. We will get into further detail in computer vision course, but right now we are just skipping some details of this expansion. So this will get cancelled. We will left with this one. By taking square of this one, we will get this equation. We can write this quadratic style equation where u and v are the two variables, quadratic in two variables, into a matrix form. So if you multiply a 1D matrix, a 1D matrix column matrix, and this 2D matrix, you will get same equation, which is this one, this complete equation. So this one is just a matrix form of equation of this equation. So the overall measurement of corner lies in this 2D matrix, which is in fact derivative along x-axis, square of the derivative, multiplication of the derivative along x-axis and y-axis, this is the same value, and then square of the derivative along y-axis. So this is the matrix. Here's an example image. We have images, three different images. Noisy linear edge, linear vertical edge with some noisy pattern, a flat region with some noise, and then a corner region with some noise. So applying x derivative, we got very perfectly detected edge, though noisy, but its edge is detected. In case of noise, we got nothing, and then in case of corner, we got just this line, not this line, because it's derivative along x-axis. So the edges along y-axis are enhanced, and similarly taking derivative along y-axis, we got nothing in case of vertical edge, and same in case of flat surface, but a horizontal line in case of this image. So let's discuss consider this linear edge. Say it has say 25 by 25, which is like 625 total pixels in this image. Though there could be more pixels in this image. I'm just considering some smaller number. So compute derivative at each pixel of this image, derivative along x-axis and y-axis. So you will get dx and dy or ix, iy are for each point. Say you have computed derivative along x-axis and y-axis at this point, then you will get a coordinate pair ix and iy. You can plot this coordinate pair on this plot or graph just as a dot. Just place a dot over here and so on. Keep putting some dots. So you will get a scatter plot like this one, because there is an edge along vertical axis. So you will get greater values of ix on this edge. I mean within this region, a greater values. But on the flatter surface over here or over here, you will get smaller value of ix and smaller value of iy. But in case of this edge, you will get a greater value of ix and a smaller value of iy. So you will get dots along this axis. So this is the scatter plot of ix, iy. I mean derivative along x-axis and derivative along iy along y-axis. And then these two values are plotted as scatter plot. But this would be the difficult way to measure the edge. Right now we are just measuring ix and iy and then plotting it as a scatter plot. Visually, it's depicting that there is some edge along y-axis. Now, here we have a flat region and we got all the values of ix and iy at any point. A smaller value of ix and a smaller value of iy is more probable, or there is a more chance. But in case of linear edge, we got higher values of x. And similarly, if we have, say, an image, same image size, and we have a linear edge along x-axis, we will get scatter along, say, y-axis, like this. In case of linear edge along x-axis, we will get derivative iy along y-axis bigger values and smaller values along ix. So, but this plot is for a linear edge along y-axis. So we got greater values of ix. And similarly, you can see a corner, we got larger values, few dots along iy because of this edge, and similarly a larger values along ix because of this edge, and some values because of this corner, and so many values because of these flat regions, and these flat regions. We got a lot of values, dots, where ix and iy are smaller values close to origin. So we can make an idea based on both ix and iy at some certain value whether this point is edge or not. So the better measure is the principal components. Principal component is like eigenvalues of same matrix M, which we discussed earlier, which is in fact about square of the derivative along x-axis and square of the derivative along y-axis, and ix, iy which has three components like this matrix, eigenvalues of this matrix, which we can say the principal components of this matrix. So look, in case of their eigenvalues are like close to each other and very small values, then it means it's a flat surface. And if lambda 1 is large and lambda 2 is small, it means it's like a linear edge. But if you have lambda 1 close to lambda 2, very close values, and their values are large like this region, then it's a corner. So that's the best measure of corner. I mean, compute derivative along x-axis, compute derivative along y-axis, compute m, then compute eigenvalues, then both the eigenvalues, if both the eigenvalues are large, then that represents that the point under consideration is a corner. So here is a better illustration of the same concept. We have a lambda 1, lambda 2. So that is like a flat region. If lambda 1, lambda 2 lies within this region. If lambda 2 is very greater than lambda 1, then it's like it lies within this region. It's like horizontal edge. And similarly, if lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2, it means vertical edge. And if both the values are greater than some certain value and larger values, then it's a corner. So we can define all the behaviors like horizontal edge, vertical edge, flat surface, or corner. Here is the original image, then some derivatives, and then detected corners. You can detect corners at all the points. You can compute eigenvalues, and based on their eigenvalues, you can compute ix, iy, and then this square, ix square, iy square, ix, iy. And then at each point you can compute eigenvalues, and based on their eigenvalues you can make a good idea of the corner. So here are the identified or detected corners. As another image with so many corners, which are then based on some thresholding. We can even refine our thresholding. We can get a better estimate of the corner. Here's the object detection example. We have some Harris corners which are then mapped into a different image, same text, same alphabets, I mean a logo, and then the same text is identified in another image using Harris corner detection. Though we have not discussed the algorithm which in fact matches the corners, but we can match based on computer vision algorithm, which we will definitely discuss in computer vision. So let's stop this video over here, and this topic is closed. I mean the edge detection, the derivative edge detection, corner detections, canny edge detection, and then corner detection. So our last topic, Harris corner detection, is not exactly the part of this course, but discussed as an application or just application of canny edge detector. So goodbye, see you in the next video.